And that's a really good question. Why? They're kind of sandwiched right there in the middle, born roughly between 1965 and 1980. People often see them as quiet, maybe a little apathetic. But what if that's not apathy at all? What if that quietness is actually a deep-seated psychological response to the world they grew up in? I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's that person we all know, the one just quietly holding things together in the background. To really get why Gen X is like this, you have to go back. You have to look at their childhood, because it was unlike any other. And that gets us to the first crucial piece of the puzzle. Their entire psychology was basically forged by independence. And not because they chose it, but because they had to. This right here was the defining experience for so many of them. Just try to picture it. You're maybe 8 years old, you've got the house key on a string around your neck, you let yourself in, you make your own snack, and you're supposed to do your homework, all completely alone. No cell phones to call mom or dad, just hours of unsupervised time. And look, this wasn't some rare thing. We're talking millions. By the mid-'80s, millions of kids, some as young as 5, were on their own every single afternoon. This wasn't some new parenting trend, it was just economic reality. And this is the core difference. You know, for other generations, being self-reliant is something you might strive for. For Gen X, it was just the default setting. It's how life worked. They learned to solve their own problems because, well, a lot of the time, there was nobody else around to do it for them. This leaves a huge psychological mark. Think about it. If you forgot your homework, that was it. No parent was going to race to the school to drop it off for you. If you broke a lamp, you had to figure out how to fix it, or at least hide it before anyone got home. It taught them to think ahead, to see the consequences coming, because those consequences were 100% theirs. So growing up like that, in that kind of high-consequence world, it creates a very specific kind of psychological armor that they carry with them into adulthood. And that armor is a deep, profound sense of realism. Gen X saw this massive disconnect. They were taught the classic script for a good life. Work hard, be loyal to your company, and you'll be set. But then they watched that whole script just get torn to shreds. They saw that corporate loyalty get rewarded with a pink slip. They saw the forever of marriage fracturing all around them. This led to something psychologists call defensive pessimism. But if you talk to a Gen Xer, they wouldn't call it pessimism at all. They just call it being realistic. It's this mindset where you hope for the best, sure, but you always have a backup plan for when it all goes south. It's a survival skill. And you see this realism show up in a few key ways. They guard their privacy like a fortress because they grew up in a world where your mistakes weren't broadcast for everyone to see. They use this sharp, sarcastic humor as a shield to keep tough situations at arm's length. And man, are they skeptical of authority because they saw institutions fail over and over again. Now, that skepticism, it leads us directly into how Gen X thinks about work, and the one thing they value more than anything else. Their whole logic about work is a straight line from their childhood. They saw the deal between companies and employees get completely shredded. And the lesson they learned was crystal clear. The company is not your family. It won't take care of you. The only real security you have is being so good at what you do that they can't afford to lose you. Your skills are your safety net. And this is exactly why they can be so tough on bosses and leaders. They don't care about your fancy title. They don't care about the corner office. What they care about is, do you actually know what you're talking about? Can you do the job? With them, respect is never automatic. It has to be earned. You have to prove it. So when you put all these pieces together, the independence, the realism, that intense focus on competence, you start to see the really unique and often totally invisible role in modern history. I mean, just think about this duality for a second. This is the last generation that can remember life before the internet. They grew up with rotary phones and encyclopedias. And yet, they're the generation that literally built the digital world we all now live in. They are fluent in both analog and digital. And honestly, that is the perfect metaphor for Generation X. A bridge doesn't ask for a round of applause. It doesn't need to be the center of attention. Its whole purpose is just to be strong, to be reliable, to be functional. To connect two totally different places and quietly bear the weight of everyone trying to get from one side to the other. That's Gen X. So I guess the crucial thought to leave you with is this. We spend so much time and energy talking about the generations on either side of that bridge, we forget to even look at the structure that's holding the whole thing up. And it really makes you wonder, what's our world going to look like when that quiet, competent, and deeply realistic generation isn't there in the middle anymore, connecting everything?